Megyn Kelly jumped in. At least she's got better graphics than Newsmax. Biden in red, obviously, because China, commie China. Well, let's see her take on it. This is what we learned from the Biden impeachment inquiry. The corporate press doesn't want to talk about. Well, I'm not corporate press. I am user funded, which when I say that out loud sounds disgusting, and yet somehow sexy and fun. Use me, fund me, please. Venmo, super chat, help out. Anyways, this is the first day of the impeachment inquiry. Now, according to Comer, what we just heard, it wasn't the first day of the impeachment inquiry. This is just to tell everybody that they're allowed to do an impeachment inquiry, and then there will be, okay, here we go.
All we heard from the Democrats all day was no evidence. There's no evidence. Completely ignoring, Margot, the fact that Comer stated openly the purpose of yesterday was just to set the stage for...
Oh, I see. So there's no evidence, not because they don't have evidence, but because yesterday, the whole thing wasn't about evidence, okay? Also, Comer just said there was plenty of evidence. So obviously, Megyn Kelly doesn't think anything presented was evidence.
Why the inquiry was necessary, and there was not even an attempt by the Republicans to begin the fact presentation. And
yes, there was. The fuck are you talking about? Okay. Tell me you didn't watch any of it without telling me you didn't watch it.
Finding process.
Right. It was crazy how they kept saying that there was no evidence and, oh, yeah, Donald Trump is bad. And, oh, yes, we're about to have a shutdown.
Yes, all three. I'd sign off on all three of those statements. Yes, Donald Trump is a bad person. He's been found by a judge to be a rapist. So, and he was just bragging about how much he was a big fan of Roger Ailes, the man who sexually harassed this woman to the point where she had to leave Fox News. But who gives a shit?
So much evidence, not by fact witnesses, but documentary evidence from the bank records, from references to the emails and the text messages were presented. But the other thing they did is anything that was...
Yeah, not evidence, though. Again, information, some of it fake.
Evidence, the Democrats wrote off as, oh, this was from Rudy Giuliani, so we can't trust it. This wasn't from Rudy Giuliani.
Yes, it was.
This was from bank records. This was from the
no, it wasn't.
Confidential human source that had...
Rudy is the confidential human source.
Nothing to do with Rudy Giuliani.
It was Rudy Giuliani.
So there's a lot of evidence.
Also, ma'am, why are all the lights out in your crazy apartment? I swear to God, this looks like it's part of a haunting video.
But as you also said, we were just starting the process.
Yeah, we're just starting 3 years fucking in. Right. You can't expect us to have a well put together thing like the Democrats did on Jan 6. We got to slow roll this stuff. I mean, we don't have time to do our homework. It's the shutdown's right around the corner.
Trying to lay this out and say,
this is Margot Cleveland. She works at the Federalist. So at least, hey, say what you will, but at least she's neutral.
This is why we need the inquiry, because we have so much evidence.
You don't have any evidence. If you had evidence, you wouldn't need an inquiry. You have information that you are trying to make look bad, and some information you have either fabricated or asserted is something it is not. That's information, it's not evidence.
Of the corruption.
Also, you haven't even proved the corruption itself. Fucking hell. Show me the change in policy.
And quite a bit of circumstantial evidence at times.
Oh, well, yeah. Now you're talking. Circumstantial. Look out.
President Joe Biden to the corruption, whether it's him benefiting or changing policy.
Yeah, whoa. At least she's got, hold on. Back the fuck up.
To the corruption, whether it's him benefiting or changing policy, that we need to have more. The Democrats' response.
Yeah, we gotta find, if it leads to him changing policy as vice president, where he carried out the policy of the Obama-Biden administration and the will of Congress and our partners in the International Monetary Fund and the EU. Fucking hell.
Oh, there's no evidence. This should be shut down.
Turley said, I'm trying to find it, but he said it was one of the most sweeping examples of corruption that he's ever seen.
Yeah, I've been
based on
a critic of influence peddling by both Republicans and Democrats for 3 decades. I've been writing about this a long time. Influence peddling is the favorite form of corruption in Washington, D.C. And this city is a...
Well, it would technically be the only real form. What do you fucking think they're doing? Giving away free patents?
Wash with it. But have I seen anything of this size and complexity? No. And just as an observer, no.
One of the most devastating.
Hold on. Seeing what size and complexity? The only thing complex about it, and this, seriously, the only thing that makes this whole thing complex in anybody's eyes is that it must be such a deep and integral woven plan of it must bounce things through all this, because I can't find out what the fuck happened for the money that we're alleging was a crime, or even if the money went there, or the money goes to somebody else and you guys are still saying it went to a different person and therefore it must have gotten to them because you're saying so. So it's not that there's nothing there, it's that it's so complex we haven't seen it yet. It's fucking stupid.
Stating examples of corruption he's ever seen. And he said this is a town awash in corrupt influence peddling.
Yeah, with no examples, by the way. Fuck are you talking about, Turley? What corruption? The firing of Shokin? That had already been decided by the administration months before. As a matter of fact, that's why Biden bragged about it. It's because nobody else had been able to pressure them to do it, including the IMF, which was holding $70 billion of money from Ukraine. Because they thought, oh, they'll give it to us anyways because they don't want our people to starve. And Biden rolled in there and went, fuck that guy, now.
Down in D.C. But this is particularly bad. Now Comer's putting the number. We had the IRS whistleblowers on this program. They said they're putting it at over 17 million that Hunter took in as a result of all these corrupt connections. Then Comer had put it at over 20 million for the Biden family and their associates.
Right, of which Devin Archer is one, and he made more money from sorry, how's it pronounced? 1 second, I have to see it's in here. The
Burmese executives. So this Burmese, they say, pronounce it Burmese.
Mm-hmm.
Here I am like an idiot.
Burmethia.
Joe Biden's name. This is the gift that they were giving. No other services besides were related to Joe Biden. And now today they revised it up to 24 million. So what kind
up to? During the time Donald Trump was president of the United States, not vice president, not former president, during the time he was president, $17 million into his secret Chinese bank account, $15 million he took out personally after striking down the Trans-Pacific Partnership, which was set up as a pushback against China.
What kind of subpoenas is he now issuing? Like what should we expect in terms of new data as a result of the inquiry officially being underway?
Sure. So we saw hit either late last night or this morning, I'm losing track of the timing, more subpoenas for bank records. And that's going to be important because what we need to see is where this money went.
You didn't see the little picture thing that he put up with the little airplane, like the Indiana Jones went from Beijing to the house. They wired money to the house. Obviously, I don't know how they got all the cash there. I think they probably just used one of those Amazon drones and just like made it rain. They just had a Chinese guy attached to a helicopter thing, just fucking flicking out $100 bills all over Hunter's hookers.
We know it was going through all of these different corporations that were set up, but we don't know everywhere that it went. So we're going to...
Right. Nor, especially during the time when he was no longer in office and his son never was in office, why the fuck do you have the right to look at anybody's money? What are you talking about?
To see more subpoenas on that. I would hope that we're also going to see more information from the whistleblowers. So there was a big dump of documents earlier in the week that went through and detailed what they found as part of the investigation. But it's really important to remember that the investigation did not get into at all President Biden. They weren't allowed to ask those questions. They weren't allowed to look at.
Oh, okay. First of all, no, they were not allowed to use the phrase the big guy or talk about the big guy again, because if they brought in shit that's from the alleged laptop, everything else would be thrown out as fruit of the poison tree, stupid. I don't know why people don't get this. I don't know. This woman seems particularly stupid, but Megyn Kelly doesn't strike me as someone who's willfully ignorant on that scale. And certainly she should understand, after having to deal with Roger Ailes and Fox News and all that shit, what fruit of the poison tree is and discovery is.
Those documents, they weren't allowed to get emails. Another thing the whistleblowers noted.
Yeah, you mean against private citizens that weren't related to the finances that they have all the bank records. Does anyone think these IRS guys don't know where that money went?
Was when they did searches of the computer, they didn't use Joe Biden's aliases. So they weren't able to get any of that type of information.
Fuckhead, the aliases were for legitimate government purposes. They're at a .gov website. They're archived. All right, look, Joe Biden is either the doddering old man or he's the criminal mastermind. And if you're saying the criminal mastermind part, then at least he's got the fucking brains to know that he wouldn't use a .gov email address to do some of his criming, you fucking idiot.
So I would expect also.
Don't fucking listen to
they
Megyn.
Weren't able to get any of that type of information. So I would expect.
Oh yeah. You know what? I never would have thought of that. If I was in Joe Biden's position using one of the many email aliases, because if you just had your email be joe.biden@whitehouse.gov, it would be filled up with fucking spam and hate mail all the goddamn day. Why would you ever use something other than Barack Hussein Obama at whitehouse.gov as your primary address? And any variation to that is clearly you trying to hide things from the United States and the government and the public and the rest of the administration. And even though we have those emails archived and listed, and you use those specifically because obvious fucking reasons, but then I'm sure I can, you know what? I'll ask Megyn at megynkelly@megynkelly.com.
Also, more subpoenas to go out for email accounts, text accounts that are coming again from third parties. So we're not looking at, this was hacked material. This is coming from third party providers. And to look at those.
Okay, she at least seems to be acknowledging the fact that they have to do the workaround. They can't bring in as evidence anything that's from the quote hacked material or the faked shit on the fake Hunter Biden laptop hard drive. You can't bring that stuff in because it will eat up everything else. Anything is tied to. That's why she said, by the way, early on, that it has nothing to do with Rudy Giuliani. This has nothing to do with Rudy Giuliani, that fucking Jedi mind trick they tried. The reason they do that is because anything tied to Rudy Giuliani is tied to the fake laptop, and the laptop stuff is untraceable, and therefore fruit of the poison tree. Anything you got to through that thing, if it's hacked material or modified and you can't prove that it's true, and you use that you could just write up an email or type up a fucking piece of paper that looks like an email that says this person said I'm going to murder this person on this certain date, signed me, and then and then print it out and go, I've got an email from this person admitting the crime, and that's how we got a warrant to break into their house. Like, this is so fucking stupid.
Aliases. To look at those text messages to see what Joe Biden was doing, what kind of communications he was having.
He was having official communications, dum-dum.
Now, it also came out yesterday that Hunter Biden, we think it was Hunter Biden.
This is starting off very well. I'm going to enjoy this segment. I can just tell.
Accepted a $260,000 payment, one $250,000, one $10,000 payment. Explain the timing and how these two payments, which were from the Chinese, were linked.
The Chinese.
Linked back to the address that
came right out of a P.F. Chang's.
That Joe Biden lives in.
Right. So the timing of that was around, I believe, when they were seeking a recommendation letter for one of their daughters for either college or grad school. And at this.
No. Also, no one is paying Joe Biden $250,000 for a college recommendation letter. What the ever-loving fuck are you talking about? This is, all right, this is what it's going to be. This is the crux of the whole case. That according to them, the Chinese sent $260,000 so that Joe Biden would write a recommendation letter for the daughter of somebody to go to college. Shit.
Time, Hunter Biden did not live with the big guy any longer. So the fact that it was shown as going to his address, again, is...
It didn't go to his address. It doesn't go to anybody's address. A wire goes to your bank. He's incorporated in fucking Delaware. Get the fuck out of here. Where did he vote? I got news for you, fuckhead. I guarantee he only voted in one place, and more than likely it was in Delaware.
More evidence connecting President Biden to this pay-to-play scandal.
What pay to play what? He wrote recommendation letters for people for free. Who the fuck is paying him $260K to his son? Dad, you got to write a letter for this guy's daughter to get into university. Why, is she nice? No, they're just paying me $250,000 to do it. Oh shit.
And we also have the kind of contradiction between, was this a loan or was this supposed to be an investment?
Well, I got news for you. If it's an investment or a loan, it isn't pay to play, because the investment actually has to show under the SEC their investment rules. So it has to actually show what it was for. And if it's a loan, it has to be paid back, and there's got to be terms. And nobody loans money for a favor. You just give them the fucking money.
The individuals testifying yesterday is a forensic accountant. And he said, look, if it was a loan, you're going to have documents to back it up. And there aren't any documents for that. So
no. You don't have any documents for that. That doesn't mean the documents don't exist.
That, again, is just more evidence of Joe Biden's personal involvement in this.
How? How at all? How is that evidence? Hunter either got the money as an investment or in a project he was doing, or as a loan, if the investment thing doesn't start. Look, I'll give it to you as a loan. You'll pay me interest if you use it for yourself. But if it goes to an investment, you give me a percentage of whatever it does, whatever the fuck that is. What does that have to do with him?
And it happened because Joe Biden launched his 2020 White House bid. He announced it in April of 2019. These payments came in July and August 2019.
Right, when he was still a private citizen and a fucking long shot. Jesus Christ, who in the world thought that besides me, thought that Joe Biden was the shoe-in for the fucking presidency? And wait, so this is the thing. He announces his presidential launch in April. And in August, he gets paid $250,000 to recommend someone's daughter for university. Again, something he does for free for people. God damn, this is dumb. How? And also, even if he's a private citizen. Is there this? I mean, this is a bigger part of it. Is it illegal for former, I guess, federal employees to get paid to write letters of recommendation for people? Can private citizens get paid to use their reputation as someone on the up and up to write recommendation letters to someone going to university? Period. End of story. This is just goofy. Who gives a shit? How is this? Is the idea that one lone American student lost a seat at fucking Harvard?
$260,000 is being sent from these Chinese officials to the Joe
Chinese officials. There's one person, but
Biden Delaware home, or at least that's the home listed as the beneficiary address for the payments
that go to the bank for Hunter Biden.
They're suggesting that's, Hunter didn't live there at the time, but that on the other hand, it was the address Hunter used on the bank account.
There you go. That's why. That get every ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Did you hear what Dimwit just said? Good, cool, thanks. Yeah, that was his address he was using for business purposes, and therefore it was on his bank account. And so when you wire something to the bank, it's going to say that's his home address, but that doesn't mean he lives there. He has multiple houses. He's a rich dude.
The money was
By the way, you realize Mar-a-Lago's not a fucking house, right?
going to. In any event, all of this stinks. And I feel like, Margot, beyond a
Why? I don't give a fuck if stuff stinks. Show me the turd, you fucking hell. I don't like it, okay? I don't like it. I don't like any of it. I don't like any of it, okay? I don't like that.
doubt, we've proven that Hunter Biden and his family members, let's exclude Joe for right now, were
Yeah, because you have to.
influence peddling with Joe Biden's name. They're just
No, they weren't. At the most you could say is that Hunter Biden was using the up and up nature of his father and his brother as a reason to shore up people's concerns about him and his drug use and his lackadaisical lifestyle in business. Going, look, my dad's on the nothing's gonna. I mean, I wouldn't ruin my dad's reputation by fucking you out of your money. I'm a legit dude. That's the most you can say.
is no doubt about that. He did it. He offered no services and he got rich doing it. Many, many millions just for being a Biden and obviously promising access to Joe Biden.
Yeah, that doesn't mean A, he got it. And no, obviously not promising. As a matter of fact, there are emails that these assholes allude to where he's specifically saying, don't make promises about where my dad's going to be or what my dad's going to say or whatever. And Bobolinsky's mad about it.
And why does access to Joe Biden mean anything?
Right. Especially when he's not fucking president, or vice president or even a senator anymore.
It's not so that you can say you know a famous person or someone who is the sitting vice president or was just
the sitting vice president.
because you want him to do something for you.
Yes, as a former vice president.
That's why influence matters, because it gives you power to do something.
Yeah, except that power is only real when it's enforceable. And as vice president, in the case of the Shokin firing, which they want to use as their thing, that was him carrying out the will of the entire administration. That's why he says when he's like, "You can't do that. I'll call the president," and Biden says, "Call him."
But I've gotten confused. I confess
Yes, you clearly have.
in watching
You dizzy fuck.
just some of yesterday's testimonials, because if we know that the Bidens are corrupt, again,
You don't.
let's exclude Joe from this.
You don't. You don't know that they're corrupt. Let's just start there. You don't. You can say somebody got a job they didn't deserve. That's not corruption. Corruption is you got that job that you didn't deserve because you delivered on something else. That's not the case. And even, by the way, that's not even the responsibility of other people. That's just you being corrupt, maybe. You promised something, whether you got it or not. It sounds like more than likely that even if Hunter toyed with the idea of promising that, my dad's vice president, so obviously that didn't pay off.
For just purposes of argument. And we know also, Turley said this too, you don't actually have to prove that Joe got a bribe. It's enough that Hunter was essentially bribed. It's enough.
No, it isn't. It's not a bribe unless you can show what the activity they got in exchange for it was. And a fucking letter of recommendation after he's vice president, when he's no longer an employee of the fucking government, is not corruption on any level. Even Turley would say that.
That they were paying Hunter all this money to have access to the Biden name, then why
the Biden name? Jesus Christ. You know what? They should have learned something from Anna de Rothschild. Anna de Rothschild had access to the Rothschild name, and she wasn't even a fucking Rothschild. Her name was Ilya Yashishin, and she was a Russian national who snuck onto the grounds at Mar-a-Lago telling everybody she was a fucking Rothschild. And she got a picture with Rudy Giuliani and Lindsey Graham and Donald fucking Trump by pretending to be a Rothschild, a member of a family that everybody from Bro Rogan to fucking Alex Jones will tell you are behind every war that's ever fucking happened.
Why aren't we done? Why do we have to keep digging on whether?
You're testing me, Lord. You're testing me. Why do we have to keep digging? Because dirt ain't enough, dum-dum.
Whether Joe cashed checks or Joe got 10 to 50% of Hunter's money. Like,
because you have to show that there was a quo in the quid pro, fucko. Nobody's going to jail for having money or getting paid for something. You are completely unqualified to run this show. The only thing that makes Megyn Kelly a valuable member of the Megyn Kelly show team is that her name is in the fucking title. She is bringing nothing to this conversation. The quality of breaking down this particular issue, the intellectual fortitude that she's supposedly bringing is vacuous, nonstop horseshit. And so she is getting paid right now on this show, on the Megyn Kelly show, by SiriusXM to do something she has no qualifications for, even with her history at Fox News, no knowledge of, and her take on it from a legal standpoint or even an intellectual standpoint is pathetic. She is the Hunter Biden Burisma board member of SiriusXM Radio Talk, or whatever the fuck channel she's on. This is dumb. What she's saying is dumb. She's wholly unqualified to even discuss the merits of this. But you know what? I don't give a fuck. If Sirius wants to pay her and she wants to spout it, I'm not going to call it corrupt. She's just dumb. This is dumb. Megyn Kelly, somebody send this clip to her. We're going to clip this, so please somebody send this. Megyn, I will come onto your show and explain all of this shit to you. You're being stupid. And the problem is, I don't think you're actually stupid. You're being stupid, which is salvageable. I don't know about this one. She seems thick. You, on the other hand, seemingly at one point, seem to be able to rub two fucking brain cells together and know the difference between a fabricated political attack and actual evidence, or the difference, quite frankly, between information that you wish was evidence and actual evidence. And that would be the total lack of a goddamn crime. And the fact that you're simping like this for the likes of James Comer, who has been nothing like, is fucking Lucy with the football with you dumbasses, is stunning. It is hilarious, but it's fucking stunning.
Why? It's interesting and it's even worse, but why is it necessary?
Because this is a criminal investigation and you're accusing someone of a crime. So you got to show the fucking crime or shut the fuck up and get sued for libel. That's why. You are a libelous, slanderous fuckhead if you can't prove what you're saying. So, I'm sorry. Move the Georgia O'Keeffe painting out of the background, put some dirt in there, and just dig in, dummy. Find some shit.
Because he's a Democrat. It really comes down to that.
The fuck are you talking about? Menendez is like, we're doing everything we can to bounce that motherfucker.
The Democrat Party is standing behind him. And I think it's in part because
because you don't have anything and you're an idiot and this is ridiculous.
The entire impeachment of Trump with Ukraine was based on covering up for Joe Biden.
No, it was specifically, basically, Trump got impeached for what Jamie Comer is doing right now, which is we don't need to actually find a crime. We just got to dirty them up for the election. We just got to create the stink around it. Even Megyn said early, it stinks, right? That was the whole point. You don't have to find anything. You don't have to actually even investigate Joe Biden. You just have to walk to the podium and say there's an investigation, and I'll use that as fodder for the election. Because you're not going to find anything, because Donald Trump was sitting president of the United States at that very moment, and he had every resource available to him as the leader of the free world to know exactly what the fuck happened in Ukraine, to see all the documents that you and I have seen that show that the entire administration wanted to get rid of Shokin. It wasn't even a fucking question. This is absurd and boring and dumb. And this is effectively like we just found another way to go around it.
So they are continuing to cover up and to
cover up what? Cover up what? What was it? What did we do for China? What did we do for Romania? What did we do for the Russians in Ukraine? the pro-Russian Ukrainians previous to Petro Poroshenko that would have benefited from this corruption stuff. Zlochevsky, is he riding high these days? He's fucking gone. I'm not even sure he's alive. Can't even have Ukrainian citizenship anymore.
And all of the evidence that connects Joe Biden to this as non-existent
there isn't any. Again, information isn't evidence. You need a crime first.
Does exist. I think that
No, it doesn't.
Turley, though, is maybe being a little bit more nuanced on this and is saying, look, yes, we know that the money was given to Hunter, and that's enough to show that there's corruption.
No, there isn't. That is not enough.
But to make it rise to the level of an impeachable offense, we need to give more of a connection to
Any connection. How about that? Any actual fucking connection.
President Biden. I think that we are there. I think, Megyn, that we're not just talking about him selling access.
Well, you can't possibly, because you can't point to an actual element of anything where that access was given. What is it? And I don't want to fucking hear somebody got a letter of recommendation for college.
We're talking
while he wasn't vice president anymore, and he had announced he was running for president.
about then Vice President, later candidate Biden.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck, people. You don't have any influence when you're just a candidate.
Giving access, whether it's him picking up the phone and saying, hi, gentlemen, I'm glad you're there. Oh, isn't it a monsoon here? And talking about weather. That is proving that he had access. So
no, it isn't. To what? Weather reports? Oh my fucking God, this is tired.
we already have that. That's the
Yeah, we already got that they talked about the weather. I mean, what more do you want? I mean, obviously, Donald Trump, when he met with Vladimir Putin in private, didn't have a translator or a note taker present. They used the Russian translator and didn't have anybody take notes, whatever. So at least we don't have that.
part that to me is amazing, that the media is not looking at this as the huge scandal it is.
Because it isn't a huge scandal. It is not. If there is a scandal in this, which is the complete waste of taxpayer funds on this stupid fucking committee.
We know Vice President Biden, candidate Biden, gave access to these people who are paying.
Yes, gave access to Joe Biden, the weatherman. That's right. It's going to be a warm front coming from the south. Have fun playing golf, guys.
His son. What we might not know is, did he directly benefit? And did he change American policy?
Right. There you go. Exactly. Those are you would need either of those two things. Now, the obvious one would be the second one. That's got to be the most obvious. That has to be super easy to, there's got to be something shocking where Joe Biden, as vice president, gave a speech, said something. He was gaffe prone. He could have used that as cover, right? That's all you need. What was it? What fucking was it? Yes, and as a candidate, like, again, they can't even argue with the fucking policies he has now, except they're going to say, maybe they're doing it to open the border and let them attack the... He ran on these things and he was elected. So the American people were on the take? God damn it. Ding, ding, ding. Tell us what she's won, Bob. Well, that's right. Congratulations to Megyn Kelly and her guest today. They get a year's supply of rice-a-roni, the San Francisco treat, and the fuck yourself home game. Yes, exactly. You need a crime for it to be corruption. And other than that, it's just money that may or may not have exchanged hands.
I'd argue neither of those matter.
Oh my God. Jesus Christ. They're the only, that's what makes it a crime, fuckwad. Listen to this. This is from the fucking Federalist. Are you shitting me? Are you shitting me?
His son. What we might not know is, did he
might not know. You don't have any evidence of this at all. I don't give a fuck. Might not know. Fuckhead, it's been 3.5 goddamn years of just this shit. You have all the contents of the fucking fake laptop. You have a shit ton. You have the IRS giving Hunter's actual laptop and his actual financials. And after all this, what we may not know, get the fuck out of here.
Directly benefit? And did he change American policy? I'd argue neither of those matter.
This, I gotta say, Megyn, you're off the hook. Right when I literally thought your guest, even as thick as she is, couldn't say anything as stupid as what Megyn Kelly has said on her show tonight. This woman just comes fucking right around the outside, just a dark horse coming around the track, and all one little lady from the Federalist coming on there to get a head by a nose coming across that bullshit finish line. There, good Lord. I would argue we could charge him with murder even if the person's still alive and was never harmed and they never met. Fucking, I can't. It's the dumb. It hurts. It hurts. It's like I get a piercing, and it's like right above my eyebrow. It's like a reverse lobotomy where my brain is like growing too fast for the space. Shit, this is dumb.
But we also have evidence of both of those.
A tree branch hit a power line in Ohio.
I heard that. I've heard this story. I can't play the rest of this because it's one of the dirtier jokes she tells. You're gonna have to just guess the punchline because this is filth. It's filth. It's filth. Shameful. I'm surprised she's telling it. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I would, if I was SiriusXM, I would tell her to take down the logo when she does this joke. It's gross. It's really gross. But we have evidence of both of that, except we don't. We may not know, but we have evidence. God damn. I'm kidding. It wasn't. It's just an ad. That is goddamn. It's gross. That is so weak.